Yes, Prashant sir, we can start the session now.
A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining in for this webinar. Uh, this webinar aims at three main points that we want to put forth. One is uh, with Microsoft 365 subscription, you already have a SharePoint platform which is available to you. I don't know how many of you are aware about this fact that you have a SharePoint platform. And this SharePoint platform can be, you can develop a lot of applications like document management and intranet portal and many more applications so as to leverage this free platform that you have already got. Uh, and once you develop the application, once you develop all the application on SharePoint, you can actually secure the application and secure the data that you're going to post on the SharePoint portal by using Acronis Backup, which is a cloud-to-cloud backup solution, which will ensure that the versions of application and the data is backed up on a regular basis, and need be in case of restoring the data that it can be done seamlessly. So these are the three, this is the main agenda of this webinar. So I'll be handing it over to my colleague Abhay, who will basically go through what is the inherent features of SharePoint that is available to you so that you can look forward to actually utilize this inbuilt platform for which you don't have to pay anything extra to Microsoft, which can be explored. And this platform can you can develop multiple applications for your users, and this application can really boost the productivity of your user. So over to you, Abhay.
Yes. Good afternoon. So, as you all aware that currently most of you are already holding some kind of a O65 subscription, where majoritarily everybody has got SharePoint as one particular application or a platform is already there as a part of their subscription. So SharePoint, if it is not known to anybody, so I'll just give a summary or small brief, like what does SharePoint is doing. So SharePoint is typically the collaborative and data management platform. So if you see the overview of this entire offering, so this SharePoint today is already everybody's already being used in your existing Office 65 subscription in
Abhay,
form of OneDrive.
just hold on. I think some participants are complaining that your screen is not visible. Uh,
It is for me. It is for me. I can see the overview slide
okay,
for
yeah,
SharePoint.
yeah, okay. Go ahead, Abhay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Uh, so as a part of current subscription plan, you are already using existing application or tools which is already embedded on SharePoint platform like OneDrive or Teams, which is a basically already deployed using SharePoint. So most of the Office 65 subscriptions are there already present in form of some or other application which basically developed or deployed on the SharePoint platform. The very common example is OneDrive or Teams. So SharePoint platform as such provides many more things. Where, as I just mentioned, typically the OneDrive and the Teams is the just an example. So typically it's an online platform and it is mainly used for collaboration purpose, where people want to use this platform to mainly for managing their existing communication or their existing centralized data, or they want to put some kind of a small workflow kind of a systems where companies want to use it for managing their existing day-to-day activity, like manage some kind of a voucher management or some basically document management system. And they can also use this as a centralized kind of a file system where people can upload their files and they can utilize those things. So typically, if you looked at the features, typically they are coming in the same scenario like the document management, team sites, social networking, and workflow automation. So if you looked at SharePoint, SharePoint typically provides these are the main area where the SharePoint provide the uh, particular the customer centric scenarios. They can be customized. So you can typically use it like for the sites. If you heard the name sites on SharePoint, so sites is typically the collection of and kind of a web pages, which can give the either the static part or could be the dynamic part where people can use providing for their internal company purpose. So intranet is the one of the objective which being used you're using the SharePoint platform. And so main objective of all these SharePoint parts is to basically collaboration, product increase in productivity, document management, and of course by doing so, since you're going to have this kind of a helping you to manage all these kind of a day-to-day challenges in the organization and improve the productivity. So it's also going to help you to reduce the cost and making the process streamlined, as most of the process which has been currently maybe happening by the means of mails or teams as an offline scenario, they can be basically put as a part of the platform and can be streamlined. So what is SharePoint? So as we just now we discussed, so it's a cloud-based platform where data can be accessed from anywhere, from any time, because it is always on scenario. It's a part of your global infrastructure of Office 65, and where anyone who is the subscribe for that particular services can access from anywhere, anytime, and from any device, of course. So SharePoint can be accessed either from your endpoint or can be from your mobile device also. So there is a separate app is available on for the SharePoint, which can be used to access your various application, or you can use the Office 65 portal also to access the same. Uh, so as
Abhay,
the
I
same the
think there
scenario.
are a lot of participants who are not able to see your screen. Can you please reshare the screen? We are able to, but we are able to hear you very clearly. We are also able to see your screen properly. But some participants are opining that they are not able to see your screen, nor able to hear your voice. I guess those participants have to re-log in to the Teams.
Okay, let me stop sharing right now and resharing again. So
Yeah.
everyone will not able
there
to
there
see
is
my screen
there are
for a second.
yeah, and also they're also opening that if you're changing your screen, they're not, maybe they're there is a lag there.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Hope no one able to now see my screen.
Yes, yes. You can start sharing again.
Yeah.
Can you please reshare, please, Abhay? Yeah, you can play it from the current slide. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Your
All good.
voice and volume is also good, Abhay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
I
you.
hope everyone is able to view my shared screen and my
Yes, yes,
voice clearly.
yes, yes. Very much, very much.
So
Yeah.
as we discuss what is SharePoint? So I'll just repeat again, because since many of you might not have heard it because of the not able to view my screen earlier and I'm not able to basically audible to any other member who has joined recently. So SharePoint is a cloud-based platform, as I mentioned, and though it is available over the web, so it can be accessed from anywhere, anytime from any device. As I mentioned earlier, device could be your endpoint or could be your mobile device. There is a separate SharePoint app available for anyone who is using mobile to access SharePoint sites or SharePoint app or any other like intranet kind of application. And also, in case it's not possible for anybody, they can always go through the Office O65 also. So from O65 also, you can able to access your SharePoint. Now, as mentioned earlier, it's a centralized location where all the documents, list, and workflows everywhere been organized and stored, so that anyone can access with their prior available permissions, or basically the proper workflow. They can able to either use that application, or they can able to access the sites which are provided. And of course, collaboration is the today the keyword or the key requirement for most of the organization. So SharePoint has been that is the main one of the main feature of the SharePoint platform. You can have create your own intranet that people can, as Teams is a basically since the offshoot, or Teams is an application which is running on SharePoint platform. So you can certainly have the collaboration and communication with your colleagues or your subordinates, so that you can manage your internal functionality or workflow more effectively and efficiently. So everybody can work together, and finally the outcome is basically the good, basically governing and the best practices every organization can follow to meet their objectives. So I'm shifting to the next slide. So as we discuss why SharePoint in Office 65. So as you know, the Office 65 is basically a combination of multiple tools and multiple applications. So SharePoint is one of that. So with Office 65, you can have the same scenario because all number of users all together using email, Teams, OneDrive, many other application, Office. So along with that, they can also be use SharePoint applications, SharePoint hosted applications, sites or workflow. So that is why it's an integrated kind of a experience for end users. So organization can very well adopted SharePoint platform to make all other application which is not part of the Office, or could be customized application requirement, like in terms of their voucher management system or travel expenses, or could be the intranet portal, all other and workflow. So as we just now discussed, what it does, it can certainly improve the collaboration since you are coming from the same repository. So all users who is logged in as an Office 65 user can be part of that particular application based on the roles and permission provided. And he can very well, he need not to basically do that kind of a re-authentication or any kind of activity once again. It's a kind of a single sign-on scenario. He can log in based on the roles provided. Then, of course, since it is a integrated scenario and integrated experience, so certainly it increases the productivity. And since everything is all together and provided as a part of the one close knit application or the group of applications, so certainly the process is streamlined because proper workflow and other things are already in place. Of course, not the least, security, which is the main requirement as of today, because nobody wants to basically compromise security. So as I mentioned, since the is a part of Office 65, all the security controls which come from as a part of the Office 65 offering, so they will be also come as a part of the same with the uh, SharePoint based application. Now, in this case, people can have all the access controls. They can have basically MFA coming from the same Enter ID credentials, and they will very well use the same thing, so that single sign-on and the ease of the operation. At the same time, the security is also being managed because access. Then you can also have a separate access control to be also set. A specific user can access a specific module, or specific user can access specific application. Of course, whatever the data is being stored, that can be encrypted, so that even in case any kind of a pilferage or anything happen, nobody can be able to use that data for any alternate purpose. And of course, since this is a part of the entire Office suite, and whatever the applications being developed, and so they can be bought under the compliance, security compliance part of the Office 65, so that whatever the compliance today, everybody has been looking forward to manage, so that to have a kind of a similar experience and protected, secured experience, so that can be continue as is on the SharePoint also. So I'll come back to the scenario called how to access SharePoint in Office 65. So I've just repeat that same thing again. Only thing is I will now a small basically extension of what we just explained. So SharePoint can be accessed on desktop. So as I mentioned earlier, you can have a SharePoint app or you can have Office 65 portal. Also, SharePoint can be accessed directly to web browser because if your application once you publish, they are web enabled. So you can have web based access also available with the proper security and controls or in measure in place. In case you can also use the same Office 65 portal from where also you can able to access. Similarly, you can also access SharePoint on mobile device. So the whole purpose or whole idea of basically providing this kind of a most suited, most accepted and easily accessible scenario so that anybody, everybody from anywhere can access the SharePoint. Now coming back to the main requirement, like how the SharePoint is available to me today. So in all Office 65 plans, where the mailbox is present, is already come with the SharePoint subscription embedded. So typically, most of the customers who are using their all business plans with mailbox or their enterprise plan, like people who with the business basic, business standard, or business premium, or could be the E1, E3, E5 enterprise plans, or could be their front end plan F1, F3 with mailboxes, or basically A3, F5 subscription, along with SharePoint Plan 1 and Plan 2 plans. These are the people who are entitled to use SharePoint. Then, of course, the most important question most of the people ask, like, how do I get a storage in SharePoint? So by de facto, in SharePoint, the storage is allocated as as an organization, which is a 1 TB by de facto you get. And then rest of the additional storage is available as a part of the number of license in your organization hold. So per user, you get 10 GB of storage space. So for example, if you have an organization of 200 users and you have got a 1 TB as a de facto storage you get along with the subscription you held, and each user has got around 10 GB allocation. So altogether, you can have a 3 TB storage available without any cost in the existing subscription. You
So this
also
is
have a choice.
sorry,
Yeah,
Abhay, this is apart from the OneDrive and other storage that you have, right? This is exclusively for
mm,
SharePoint, right?
correct. Yeah. So now, in case, because typically people want to have more storage because one is basically what you get at no extra cost and what you can buy as an add-on to that, because as the data is the basically is a growing need for every organization. So data is keep on growing. So to store that, Microsoft do provide you basically the facility to buy additional storage. Additional storage will be available in the increment of 1 GB. So of course, when you order, you can basically the order that way goes to the Microsoft, and you can always so when you buy this additional storage, so there is a eligibility is there, so you can buy additional storage point storage. So people who are already having SharePoint as a subscription available, uh, they will be able to buy additional storage. So as I mentioned earlier, so all Office 65 Business Basic, Business Premium, and Business Standard in Enterprise 365 E3, E5, or 65 F1 and F3. Then Microsoft 365 for Web with SharePoint Plan 1 and Plan 2, and Office 65 Enterprise E1, Enterprise E2, E3, and E5. And then, of course, faculty that is A3 and A5, and SharePoint Plan 1, Plan 2. So these are the subscription are allowed to purchase. People who are just holding the office subscription, that is business apps or kind of thing, there is no subscription for SharePoint available. He cannot buy. So you for buying there is eligibility which is mentioned here, and for all those who is already avail SharePoint as a service as a part of their subscription is also mentioned above, where all those subscription with mailbox they can avail SharePoint as a service, and wherever where mailbox is not there, they can go with the SharePoint P1 and a P2 plan with the subscription. So this is all about
Abhay, one
transition.
question that has been coming. The 10 GB plan extra storage, is it only allocated to the user or is it a pooled storage? So 3 TB is a pooled storage for SharePoint, the example that you
Is a
gave.
pool storage. Yeah. So per user it is provided. Only thing
Yeah.
is how to use is that is a part of the customization and development. So as a part of subscription, you get that 10 gig. So if you have 200, so it will be pool storage, but it will be based on the number of license.
Yeah. Additional cost, we will get back to you on the costing part. That depends on the size of the data that you're procuring.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Abhay.
yeah, so this is all about subscription and the amount of free storage available in the existing subscription and how you will be eligible yourself to get the additional storage. So going to the next slide. So what I discuss about all about SharePoint and how SharePoint can be availed and how SharePoint can be currently used in existing subscription. So to do all these things, so for that there is a kind of a effort and there is a kind of a skill sets and services required which Logics offer. So what typically Logics do? So today Logics is providing his own customer a kind of a standard handholding in case any customer come with the basic requirement that I want to start something on SharePoint. So there are templates. So we do a standard hold, basically basic handholding and giving the customer enablement on the SharePoint. In Office 365, help customer to make use the basic feature of SharePoint. That's basically the standard requirement which normally come from the customer. For the enhancement, uh, Logix is actively provide the various solution on SharePoint platform. So typically Logix provided custom tailor-made application on SharePoint. So my colleague Pankaj is now after my this particular presentation, he will take this further and he will going deep in this and going to explain like what we do and how is our skill sets are on this particular SharePoint we provide. So that is which is the actually the main I would say juice or the main the part of the SharePoint, like how SharePoint can be exploited and can be used for various application and how Logis can help you to do that. So after this, Pankaj will take it over. And finally, uh, we all do all this activity based on the application and create data creation which keep on happening. Now, after this data creation happens, there is a major scenario come in front of everybody that how to basically manage this data and how to protect this data, because today the data is all there with Microsoft. But anything happens, something happen with the protection, with the corruption or any issue happen, because Microsoft do not provide you as such anything in the writing that he will. Of course, Microsoft will help to recover something, but there is no guarantee or there is no confirmation provided Microsoft that he will be recovering the data in case of any accident deletion or could be any issue happen. So for that purpose, we also provide the SharePoint backup on the third party cloud site like Acronis. So so that is where we have our expertise available and we provide that kind of services separately for managing that data and keeping the backup and restoration and all those kind of activity. So this is what all about Logics do, and this is what all about we as a organization provide you the solution using SharePoint. And subsequently, whenever there are the any kind of requirements are there, because as being the one of the top CSP partner with Microsoft, SharePoint is a very important aspect of Microsoft services, and Logix is a kind of a in forefront to provide all those kind of services whenever they require. So this is all about basically small insight of SharePoint. Now I'm handing over to the my colleague Pankaj, who will take it over through the like the enhancement in SharePoint and developmental part of SharePoint. Thank you.
Uh, Hello, good evening to everybody. My voice is audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. It is.
Yeah. So I'll present my screen. Let me know my screen is visible to you.
Yes,
It
it is
is.
visible.
So we are just trying to showcase you a couple of intranet sites. Then we will showcase you document management system, and then finally we will showcase you one of the workflow which is built on SharePoint. So if you see, this is the complete intranet portal. On the top navigation, you can see different uh, department-wise sites, department admin, legacy internet. All these are the top navigation. And on sorry, yeah, on the top headings, it is having a banner image, leadership message, and in the weather web part, based just below to that, quick links, announcement. So there are multiple sections which are associated with internet, like events, announcement, map makers, work analysis. Now, work analysis, we are fetching all this data from their Active Directory, and team member directory also. We are fetching all this data from the Active Directory. Then we have integrated with social media platform, LinkedIn videos, and then we have integrated with web APIs, where we are fetching all the data related to recruitment feeds. So this is one of the example. Similarly, for the same, we have created admin pages. So any modification on the top navigation, as well as any, if I would like to add new event over here. So if I'm having the access, I can create a new event over here itself. So we are providing a panel to events modification also. All these are based on the permission. Similarly, if I go to employee master upload, if I go to employee master section, so we can upload the employee data which is relevant to based on my country and location. And we can directly integrate this data with Active Directory. Now all these email IDs we are integrating with the Active Directory, and based on the user access, so user based on the user permission, we are providing the access to each and every navigation. Similarly, on the quick link section, we can have a there are 8 to 9 quick link sections. So once again, we can modify the quick links. We can inactive the quick links, existing quick links, and add new links to home page. And all these are dynamically managed by admin team of the organization. This is one of the sample. Any question over here?
So I presume that most of the organization will have inherent requirement of intranet portal because uh, there are so many departments, there are lots of information to be shared internally, and intranet is a very I would say a business requirement to keep internal communication seamless. Yes, Pankaj, you can move on to the next very popular application, that is a document management. Uh,
Yeah, yes, yes. So these are some of the couple of intranet portal similar to that. We'll jump into document management system, not for sure. Yeah. So we have created intranet as well as document management system. Document management based on the department-wise section, we have created a DMS. If you see on the left-hand side, based on the country, we have created a document management system. And this is based on the permission. If I'm having access to India folder, I can see only India folder on the left hand side. So further drilling down to This is some similar to File View Explorer. If I'm further drilling down to child folder, I can see the breadcrumb of that particular document. Similarly, from here, you can share the documents as well as you can, based on the permission, you can share the documents. Now, if we if we go to permission management for the same, so here we have done certain customized permission based on the organization requirement. So HR Global is the parent permission, highest permission. Then based on the country, we have created a second level permission, as well as within the country, we have created third level of permission. And the intranet visitor is the final fourth level of permission, the user who can view the document. So they can't download the document over here. Each and every department is having their own different sites, as mentioned by Abhay previously. So all these sites has been created as per the requirement of the organization. So we can define the sites based on the organization. Similarly, if finance is having their own content, we can create that different site. Each and every site is having their document management as well as workflows associated with it. In IT, we are having hardware, software acquisition workflow. In HR, we are having multiple workflows, including leave, attendance. All these workflows are associated. So we can build multiple workflows along with document management system. Can we jump to a workflow section?
Yes. Any queries regarding document management? Because this is, I think, one of the most sought after application on SharePoint. Okay, we can take up the Q&A later. You can move to the next application.
So this is one of the workflow which we have configured. This is completely customized. If you see on the top navigation, who has created this particular request and who is the final approval. Okay. Similar workflow is defined over here based on the approval matrix. Now this approval matrix is configured according to the organization requirement. So L1 level 1 is CSO, level 2 is CC, and the final authority for this particular document is group CFO. And this document is related to legal, and based on this clause, all this approval matrix is configured. Okay, and it is having up to 1 CR limit, so we can configure a limit of that particular workflow. So these are the supporting documents along with the digitally approved documents. You can see the complete workflow history when the document, when the request has been created and who has created the request. It is on 25th October. Finally, the request is approved by Ashish on 28th October. There are certain queries which has been raised by Rahul, responded by Rahul. Similarly, in terms of comment history, the complete comment history related to this workflow has been configured. Whenever there is a comment or remarks from the any approving authority, so it is captured over here along with the workflow and the query delegation details. Same, we can download this document for the audit purpose.
So, Pankaj, sorry for chiming in. I've got a question, a curiosity. So basically, instead of us forwarding an internal procedure, right, a document that needs to be signed by 10 stakeholders, right, instead of forwarding that, over the email, this is a very particular use case where everyone will be able to access it and bring their signature.
Yes, we can integrate with DocuSign. That is one option. Second, for one of the So we can upload digital signature over here, images of the signature, and we can paste on the documents.
Mhm. What happens if I'm, let's say, the layer 5 out of 10? What happens after I have provided my signature? Can I, or does the workflow go back from, let's say, the approval layer 8? If there is something that I need to correct, for instance, that is something that I need to adjust on that
We
procedure.
so what if you can you repeat the question?
So
If
now
you
the workflow, that
Yeah.
document that needs to be signed is with you, right? And you are the approval number 8. And I was signing, I was bringing my input at layer number 5. Can we go back, or from the moment I
Yeah,
signed
sorry.
it?
Yeah, that depends on the customer's requirement. If customer says that no, once it has been approved, it cannot be going back to the approver once he has already approved it. So it's configurable depending on whether you want a backward movement, you want a forward movement. That can be designed.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Pankaj, you can move ahead.
So I think I've covered most of the part related to workflow also. If
The
any
tra
document, yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, do you wish to showcase the training module, which is also a very omnipresent requirement with customers because every department requires a lot of information to be trained to users, and the training module is a very important application that can be hosted on SharePoint.
Yes, I'll just give a glimpse of training model, how we can configure that, we can design on the SharePoint. So complete e-learning platform can be created on SharePoint, and this is integrated with your uh, other applications, so like SAP or Oracle. So here we have built a complete learning platform. If I go to exam section, so user can attempt complete exam on the portal, as well as they can whatever the score that can be captured in the system, and this is integrated with performance management system.
So I can take the exam exactly in the app itself.
Yes, yes. Now I have just launched. I have gone to exam section, so you can attend the webinars, and then go off for an exam of that particular model. Now this is one of the model where we can opt for exam. So now these are the 5 pending trainings for me. Okay, 6 has been assigned to me, 1 has been attempted by me. And these are my trainings which has been completed. This is for this 24 and 25. And all these application can be built on team apps. I'll just go through a team apps quickly. So so I logged in a Teams. So intranet can be configured as an app over here, as well as workflows can be configured as an app over here. I'll just showcase you on the workflow. Complete workflows and complete application can be built as a Teams app. So same workflows we can build over here. we can see the top level 1, level 2, who is level 1, level 2, approval matrix, workflow history, and this is integrated with SAP. So all this data we are fetching it from the SAP. And this workflow, all the notification related to this can be, it is available in Teams itself. Yeah. So no, user can get a notification on the Teams itself and they can approve it from Teams.
Isn't
So-
that a very fantastic feature? Because then you actually don't have to go back and forth between applications. Somebody might put up a voucher application and that gets, you can approve it from your Teams, and that still continues. Likewise, you can think about multiple workflows within your organization that can be actually customized, developed on a SharePoint platform. It could be vouchers, it could be travel, it could be other kind of approvals, it could be purchase related, multiple things. You think about the workflow and it can be configured here, or rather developed on SharePoint.
So, I've covered most of the points related to SharePoint.
Yeah. So now that once I believe most of you would be really interested to explore this platform, and we would be glad to help you out in developing these applications on SharePoint. Once you get application developed on SharePoint, or maybe some customers are already using SharePoint based applications with their M365 subscription. Now, the very important point that comes in is once you have data, obviously you need to have a backup. So now over to Sorin and the Acronis team, who will showcase how we secure this data and the application. So over to you, Sorin.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much, everyone. First of all, to our family, how we call Logics, and then for you, all the others making the time to attend this very, very interesting and constructive, I would say, session, because I got to know lots of things today, which I wasn't aware before. But as the process was described by our colleagues from Logics, so the standard, the initial step is for me going and purchasing Microsoft software or Microsoft 365 apps. Then I'm going to start deploying specific customized apps on SharePoint, depending on my needs, on my end customer needs. But what do I do at the end of the day when, of course, I need to back up all those documents, all those data, crucial for my end customers. So for me, in terms of top use cases, when it comes to Microsoft 365, in general, not only SharePoint, is to ensure my end users, my end customers, they never lose important data. And secondly, the fact that they have to meet legal and regulations requirements. There is no need from my side to mention about the Microsoft 365 latest outages. At the first glance, if you just type latest outages now on Google, you will get to know about the outages happening in November, October, September, and of course, once with the CrowdStrike crisis on August 1st. Why? Because Microsoft is even more entrenched in the overall businesses, corporate environments, where if we take into account that email, it's still the primary attack vector facing clients, when 94% of the malware is being delivered through it. Then if we take into account that last year there were discovered 13,000 vulnerabilities into the Microsoft software. If we corroborate this with last year 8 out of 10 most exploited software vulnerabilities involving Microsoft products, and of course, from the moment you go and purchase Microsoft software, It has some built-in protection against email-borne threats, but guess what? 80% of the breaches nowadays are totally new, are unknown zero-day attacks, right? And this means that they can bypass traditional defenses. Now, why Acronis, right? Because Microsoft itself on their public website, from the moment you have become or you have just purchased Microsoft software, they're recommending you to regularly back up your content and data. But why Acronis? In terms of the operational process, there is no manual input. There is no manual operation required from your side. Any upfront investments not there, right? Because Acronis backs up data directly from Microsoft Azure data centers to Acronis data center. So there is nothing for you there to perform, to install, and from an operational standpoint, my colleague Suhas, in 3 minutes, 4 minutes from now on, he will be demoing for you within the web console, the management portal from Acronis, how you can back up, first of all, SharePoint sites and how you can recover. So the process is very, very simple. For me, as a service provider, I'm going to have all the users, all the sites, all the mailboxes, if you want, for Exchange Online, all the teams imported, synchronized from my end customer to my web console, my management portal, where I can manage, right, the backups and perform recovery. These are 6 benefits, right? Why Acronis backup on top of my Microsoft 365 apps, strictly related to SharePoint. You get to choose for how long you would like to retaining those SharePoint backups. You get to choose and to search, because we've got a very powerful search functionality. You also can set up 2-factor authentication. You can also encrypt that particular backup for SharePoint, just in case some of the, I don't know, depending on the rights assigned, any of the users will be deleting a particular file, I don't know, by accident or just by being bad intention. There is nothing to worry about it, because you will be able to recover at any point in time any deleted item. Nothing is lost. You will get probably from our colleagues from Logix a user guide that we have created today for you from an operational standpoint, 5-6 steps. But what I would like to emphasize on is the fact that you can adjust the frequency of backing up Microsoft 365 apps, or for this particular discussion, SharePoint online sites. So by default, the backups run once a day, but from the moment you will enable one of our advanced packs, which is advanced backup pack, you will be able to configure more frequent backups. So you can only select the number of backups per day that start automatically, depend on the current load of the cloud agent, but you can choose to back up data twice a day, 3 times a day, or even 6 times a day. Note that the backups for this particular situation, strictly related to group mailboxes, they can only run once a day. But for the others, you can set it up to 6 backups a day. Now, for protecting SharePoint online sites, you can back up SharePoint Classic site, collections, group, modern team sites, and communication sites. You can also select individual sub-sites, I don't know, lists or libraries for backing them up. But you have to know that some items will be skipped during a backup, like some look and feel site settings content of the recycle bin, or web part pages, web parts embedded in the wiki pages, and so on. Now, in terms of what items can be recovered with a SharePoint online site backup, you can restore from a site backup the entire site. You can restore subsites. You can restore lists, list items, document libraries, documents itself, list item attachments, and site pages and wiki pages as well. And to help you, once again, and I'm going to ask my colleague Suhas to specifically cover this functionality, powerful search functionality. You can use it to locate the items you need to recover. Now, that items can be recovered to the original or to a non-original site, which means that if it was deleted by me by accident from the original location, of course, it can be recovered in any other place you would like to doing so. The path to a recovered item is the same as the original one. So if the path does not exist, it is created. You can choose whether to recover the sharing permissions or just let the items inherit the permissions, the initial ones, from the parent object after the recovery. In another hand, you won't be, there are some limitations, right? So you can't recover subsites based on the Visio process repository template. A list of, let's say, survey list, task list, picture library, links, calendar, discussion board, external or import spreadsheet. But once again, we will be able to providing you all these through our colleague from Logix. So Suhas, I'm going to leave it to you. And please, as I did mention, please emphasize on the idea of, first of all, creating a protection plan for SharePoint. So what to backup, where to backup, the frequency, for how long to retaining the data, so retention period, and then performing an individual backup for a particular SharePoint site and recovery directory from the backup storage. Over to you.
Yeah, sure, Soren. Thank you. So let me share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So let me introduce myself, Suhas. I'm a solution engineer from Acronis. So basically, this is the HTML web-based console. So Acronis as a product, we offer backup, we offer security, we have disaster recovery, we have management and email security solutions. So coming to today's topic, basically the M365. So first thing, how do I integrate with my M365 account? So basically, it's a cloud-to-cloud solution, which means I need not to install any agent in my local premises. To integrate with my M365, I just need a global admin credential. So if I go here, it will take me to my M365 account and I just need to provide my global admin credential and I need to accept and then automatically it will import all my user SharePoint sites, teams into the console. I hope you can see the groups. And then we do have the SharePoint sites here. So we have a site here. Basically, I can pick and choose. I want to back up this particular SharePoint site. I can create a plan and attach multiple sites into that or create a dedicated policy, backup policy for a particular SharePoint site as well. So for time being now, I want to backup this. I will create a backup plan. I will decide what data I want to backup, whether I want to backup entire SharePoint site or specific items in this particular SharePoint site. Based on the file extension, you might have stored some PDF files, you might have stored some Excel files. We can keep on adding this extension. Maybe I want to backup my docx. So, or else I will say I will backup everything, all, and then it will include OneNote. Where it will backup to Acronis Cloud Storage. And then Soren already explained about the schedule. Basically, from once a day up to 6 times per day, we will be able to increase the number of backups per day, which means like every 4 hours once, we'll be able to run the backup, or every 8 hours once, or every 12 hours once, we'll be able to run the backup, or once in a day. And then retention. So this is completely customizable. I want to retain daily, weekly, monthly, because it's once full, always incremental. So I can customize this retention, or I will say I will keep all the backups for 7 years. So this, depending on your requirement, company policy, government regulations, we can customize this particular retention period, or we can keep infinitely also. So this is the retention option, and then here we have the encryption. So we do support AES 256, 192, and 128-bit algorithms, and we can set a password for this. But this password has to be managed by the end customer because there is no mechanism to recover this password. We don't store this password anywhere. We just use the signatures. And once I apply this plan, so this will be applied and automatically it will do a cloud to cloud backup. So now I have done the backup. I want to recover some data from this particular site. I can recover the entire site, entire SharePoint site. That site got deleted. I can create a new site and recover it over there, or I can recover the same site with the same sharing permissions. So some items got deleted inside the SharePoint site. At a granular level, I want to recover a single file and folder. I can go to my documents folder here. So I will be able to get this. So basically, this was the searching. Oh, I'm sorry. So here I will get the search option. I can search for the particular file. So there are some PDF files. I can search for this. I can restore it to the same site or to a different site. So there are multiple sites. It has been backed up from this particular site. I want to restore it in this site. So that is also possible. And coming to the groups. So here I have groups. So directly I can back up all the group or particular group. I can select the group. I can decide here whether I want to back up the SharePoint site or I want to back up the mailbox. I will get the option. So once you have a M365 license, you are entitled to back up the mailbox, OneDrive, SharePoint sites, and Teams. So let me quickly go through that. Basically, I can create a cloud application backup. Here I can create a cloud application backup. First thing, I just need to decide whether I want to backup mailbox, OneDrive, SharePoint sites, or Teams. At least one plan has to be created for mailbox, one plan for OneDrive, one plan for sites, and another plan for Teams. So same way I can add multiple users into this. I can increase the number of backups. I can set the retention and all. And I have done the backup. I want to do a restoration. Again, I can go back to my M365 and I will get to see all my users. I can go back to my particular user. So here I will get to see all my OneDrive and the mailbox recovery points, or I can sort out I want to restore only the M365. And then I can recover the entire mailbox. If I start recovery, it will ask me whether you want to overwrite or do not overwrite. Or granularly, I can recover a single mail message also. I can go inside this. Here also, even we can do a keyword search. And we do have options to search for with the attachments, date and time and all. And I have got that mail. I can restore it to the same user or to a different user, create a custom location and recover it over there. Same way for another option is basically as a PST file. I can just download this email as a PST or entire mailbox as a PST, open with the Outlook. And same way for the OneDrive as well. We can recover the entire OneDrive or granularly single file and folders can be restored. So basically this is the simple architecture for M365. Soren, am I missing anything? You want me to show any other feature? Okay, yeah, that's it from my end. So any other questions? Yes.
So thank you very much, Abhay, Pankaj, Soren, and the entire team of Acronis. So thank you for the insightful presentation. Hope it was very informative, and we look forward to inquiries on this development as well as in the backup side, so that we can help you with these areas of IT. And that's it from us.
Prashant sir, can we take a few questions?
Sure, sure. We are open to take questions because I think we are overshooting on time. We are already at 5:01. So
Okay, so
we
I
can
have allowed
definitely.
mic to the attendees. Attendees can unmute themselves and ask any questions.
Yeah, any questions? Animesh, would you like to hold a poll to check how many of them would be interested to, they want us to approach them for further discussions?
I'll check, sir.
Or maybe you can write back to them who have attended this session, and then we can take this discussion further with them.
Yes, sir.
The answer is yes, we can have connect with Power Apps. We'll have a separate session on Power Apps, and our team will showcase those powers of ours as well. Any questions? Any questions related to the today's presentation? I guess there are no questions. We can conclude this session. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.